6:48 in our Smart Start for Tuesday. Happening tonight, another vigil to show support and love for the family of Sam Nordquist, the trans man from Minnesota. Troopers say was brutally tortured for weeks and then killed by 5 people in Ontario County.
At this time, the investigators involved say they don't consider this to be a hate crime, but all over the nation, folks have shared their shock and frustration over this victim's fate. Aron Spitzer joining us now in the studio with how Sam is already being remembered. Aron.
Yeah, guys, tonight the Geneva community will come together to honor the life of 24-year-old Sam Nordquist. At last night's vigil in Canandaigua, we were asked to keep cameras away out of respect for everyone present. But those who spoke tell us all Sam ever wanted was love. It was standing room only at Wood Library, with people expressing their support, devastation, and frustration. The church down the street also opened its doors to a full crowd of participants who watched a live stream. Meanwhile, back in his hometown of Minnesota, a similar gathering took place at the state capitol. Sam came to New York back in September, and his mother says he moved here to be with a woman he met online. Investigators tell us Nordquist was tortured and killed by 5 people inside Patty's Lodge in Hopewell, where they say he was abused from December until his death in February. His body was found last week in Yates County, and 5 suspects were identified, arrested, and charged in connection to his murder. The Nordquist family was also at last night's vigil. As of Sunday, the Ontario County District Attorney's Office says at this time there is, quote, no indication Sam Nordquist's death was a hate crime, but organizers at last night's vigil say otherwise.
It was a hateful act, regardless of whether it was a hate-specific crime, So I think that's important to know, love, what Sam was seeking. I only wish that he had had the opportunity to get that here in our community.
The vigil that was scheduled for last night in Buffalo has been moved to Saturday. As for tonight's vigil in Geneva, speakers call on elected officials to show up so they can hear what is being said. That gathering will be at the Presbyterian Church on Park Place starting at 6, guys.
Aron, thank you. Learning more about this investigation, News 8 has found out one of the defendants in this homicide is a registered sex offender, 30-year-old Patrick Goodwin, one of the people charged with second-degree murder. Goodwin is in the state's sex offender registry. More than a decade ago, he sexually abused a 7-year-old boy and a 9-year-old girl. He was on parole at the time of this killing. Goodwin was not the only one on parole when arrested. So too was fellow defendant Kyle Sage, who had done time for grand larceny and dissemination of indecent material. The other 3 people arrested were not found in the parole database. We did reach out to DOCS, the State Department of Corrections and Community Supervision, to ask about what kind of watch Goodwin or Sage may have been under while on parole. We have yet to get that response.
Well, headlines this morning, a really shocking scene with these images here. A Delta Airlines flight that flipped over while trying to land at Toronto's Pearson Airport yesterday.
It's just incredible. Everyone survived. All 80 passengers and crew accounted for, but at least 17 injuries, including a child. There were wind gusts of 40 miles an hour when this happened and blowing snow as well.
It's really important that we do not speculate. What we can say is the runway was dry and there was no crosswind conditions.
The plane took off originally from Minneapolis. Canada's Transportation Safety Board is taking the lead on the investigation.
A 2-alarm fire and other headlines ripped through a Rochester home last night. We're showing you the scene on Oscar Street, just off North Clinton Avenue. When News 8 last checked in with those fire crews around 10 last night, they were still very much busy, struggling to battle things and put it all out. The active flames shooting out of the roof there. The fire caused very heavy damage in and out of the home, and no injuries have so far been reported.
Right now, hundreds of prison workers at 3 correctional sites around the state are on strike, demanding better conditions for their work, including staff at Collins, Elmira, and Groveland, who want to see more action coming out of Albany. Among their list of demands, reversing the HALT Act, which loosened the rules for solitary confinement. They also want incoming mail to be scanned and sent digitally to inmates, mandated body scans for visitors, $5,000 as a hiring bonus for new workers, and no overtime mandates more than 16 hours of work. But state law bans public workers such as teachers, firefighters, and corrections officers from going on strike because they provide critical services.
The legislature, the department, the governor's office, they're trying to get someone to listen, and they're doing something that they know is illegal to try to garner attention for what's going on inside those walls and fences.
The penalties can be twice a employee's wages. Further, unions can also be fined because the Taylor Act, in fact, does require that unions discourage its members from striking.
The union for these officers has been clear. This is unsanctioned picketing. The Department of Corrections calls those officers rogue members, and the state will work to resolve the situation. For now, visitation at those 3 facilities is suspended.
We're looking ahead now to later this week when the Onondaga County District Attorney is expected to announce a noteworthy development in the investigation into the beating death of Robert Brooks. As News 8 has reported, he was the Rochester man incarcerated at Marcy Correctional Facility near Utica when body camera video showed corrections officers and other prison staff beating Brooks in December, and he sadly died about 4 hours after this alleged assault. The Albany Times Union reports criminal charges will be filed against at least some of those involved by Thursday afternoon. And in other headlines happening today, Governor Kathy Hochul expected to discuss with leaders in Manhattan some of the next steps here as New York City Mayor Eric Adams continues fighting for his job and political image.
While the charges against him may go away, the accusations that he's betraying the immigrant community to make President Trump happy will not. Adams gave a speech to religious leaders insisting he's not stepping down and is, quote, nobody's puppet. He also compared what he says are alleged lies and misinformation against him to Hitler's idea that if you repeat a lie long enough, it will become the truth. Still, 4 deputy mayors have quit, including his right-hand woman, Maria Torres Springer. They've resigned. Protesters rallied outside City Hall calling for his removal, accusing him of corruption and loyalty to President Trump. Governor Hochul says her priority is making sure the city runs smoothly, adding in this statement, the alleged conduct at City Hall that has been reported over the last 2 weeks is troubling and it cannot be ignored.
Happening this weekend, something to look forward to. The Amerks bringing back the ever popular and beloved teddy bear toss.
Go downtown. That'll be Saturday for the game against Toronto at Blue Cross Arena. We get these videos from all over the league for these special nights. It is so moving. Fans attending this weekend here encouraged to show up with new teddy bears, other stuffies to throw out onto the ice immediately following the Amerks' first goal. All of those will be picked up, collected, later donated to the Pirate Toy Fund. Tickets for the game can be found at amerks.com. Another live view here this morning, 5 minutes ago till the top of the hour. How about the view from 350 near Plank in Walworth? Getting some of the lake effect, and our chief photographer behind the wheel there, Eric, says that's about where it's kind of wrapping up, but you go there north to 104 Lake Road up into Webster, Williamson, Ontario, getting that band this morning. Another view from a different camera from our Greater Rock Sky Eye over downtown. There you have it, looking south. Not seeing so much, and traffic moving along just fine. But there it is, James, just waiting and watching that band going up and down.
Right, yeah, and the winds are so strong that a lot of the snow is just kind of blowing around as well. Sure. So tough to measure any of the accumulation, and it's slick underfoot. You know, I was saying that a lot this morning, that not necessarily the new snow that's fallen, but just the icy conditions with the lack of salt. Lake flakes today, tomorrow probably a little bit as well, and then some area-wide snow Thursday before a slow warm-up into the weekend.
Snowpack sticking around. It's like 5 feet in my neighborhood.
I know, and then there's the ice underneath.
Yeah.
I've just given up on trying to chip that out.
Sure. You can hear it. We'll wait for the thaw eventually. That does it for us. We'll see you back here at 7:25.
Have a wonderful day. Be safe. Be warm.
Follow News 8 wherever you are on RochesterFirst.com, Facebook, X, and on our app for news and weather.